Friends, family, soldiers of fortune, you are here on Shot Callers Live special edition. We got some goats. We got, to the left of me, Mr. Fantasy Flojo himself in the house. We got Stevie B. Right next to him, we got the OG, triple OG, Rob from Fantasy Football State of Mind. How we doing today, fellas?
Yeah, what up?
Doing great, man. Great. What is good?
Getting closer to the season, getting closer and closer.
Man, the season can't be here soon enough. It's like this next month is probably the worst month of the year because you got all these teaser trailers and like of what it may or may not happen and probably won't happen because, you know, we all love a good camp hype beast. So going forward in August, we get some preseason football that no one really gives two fucks about. And just more opportunity for these fantasy fools, especially in our dynasty leagues, to get injured. And I don't really like that.
Or ball out and do work and, bump up a couple spots on the depth chart, baby. Let's be positive here, Betty.
Hey, I got to get all the negativity out first so we can focus on the positive.
I just love the camp hype, man. It's coming in like 24/7 all day long. And the one that I saw today that made me laugh was Eagles running back Will Shipley taking the goal line.
One that I just saw that I think is the biggest camp hype mystery, but not. And it goes back to an ex-Raider from Fresno State that now plays in the Bayou. His backup quarterback, and I'm going to play the couple clips for y'all, in Spencer. I mean, okay, great. He made some throws. Cool. With no pads, no rushers.
Hey, why you hating on Spencer Rattler, bro? I know Stevie got something to say about him down there.
Who, Spencer Rattler? No. All I can say is with the camp hype is remember, what was it, 3 years ago maybe, when Allen Robinson caught that end zone pass from Stafford and everybody started going crazy for Allen Robinson and then he did jack. So
I'm gonna do you one better. Remember Amir Abdullah?
Oh, there you go.
The kickoff.
Yeah. Lions rookie Amir Abdullah had one of the nastiest cuts in preseason history and had defenders turn in. And I swear to you, his ADP climbed up at least 3 rounds after that one highlight. So I'm not sure if I've ever seen one play completely snap 20 spots in the ADP, but Amir Abdullah has it.
Hey, he's on the Raiders right now too. So,
hey, shout out to him.
All right. So we are here not to just talk about camp hype, but to get into some mocking and to really spit our game at you so you can win your league. So we're going to get our screen shared here on the Sleeper app. Basically, we're just kind of going in order on how we're going to approach this thing. So it's all auto thottos, and then myself, Flo, Rob, and Stevie in that order. So let's kick it off, gentlemen.
Let's get it.
All right. So, auto the thotto strikes again. This would never fucking happen. We're going Jamar Chase first, Tyreek Hill, then CD. I'm just to save face, I'm not going to pick Christian McCaffrey with my number 4 pick because that's not why we're here. We're not here to take advantage of an AI that doesn't know what it's doing. So with my first pick, what I call this from picks 3 to 5 is the reach point, right? Like you may be reaching a couple picks to get the guy that you really want. You're going to mix up the picks depending on, what your strategy is from here on forward. So if you're selecting a running back here, you want to make sure that you have a balanced attack going forward and making sure that you also can grab the best available if you're in need of a running back, a wide receiver, or whatnot. So right here, I'm going to reach a little bit, not anything too crazy, and I'm going to go with the RB1 of 2024 in Bijan Robinson.
Hey,
Nice pick, man.
Spicy. What are your thoughts, fellas?
I mean, honestly, I first off, thank you for not completely destroying this mock draft by going Christian McCaffrey here. But with Bijan Robinson, I have him as my 2 as well. So I'm very high on Bijan. I think from a talent standpoint, looking at him, it kind of reminds me of what Saquon Barkley was in his first year. The only thing that Bijan was missing last year was really opportunity, right? And the right opportunity. And the stat that really bogged my mind was that Bijan had 4 total carries inside the 5-yard line last year. How is that?
Smith.
How is that humanly possible, right? So when you factor in the fact that this entire offense is going to look nothing like what we've come to see under Arthur Smith, I can't help but get excited about the possibility of Bijan dominating the league like we saw glimpses of last year. I think he has the ability to finish with 2,000 yards from scrimmage this season. I'm putting it out there.
Hell yeah.
I can see that.
We shoot our shots here. What we got, Flo? Where are we looking?
Hey, you guys were talking up an RB, but the problem is y'all were talking up the wrong RB. All right, because CMC, and I'm not going to take CMC either. We'll let that go to the computer. All right, but basically, who's the RB2 last year? All right, I'm going to make this real simple for you guys. It's my guy. All right, we're going Brees. And before you pick, Rob, let me finish the train of thought, right? I saw something. We're just envisioning A-Rod running out with the flag again on that Monday night game. And
don't do it.
Ben can speak to this, is all the Jets' hopes and dreams in that entire stadium died with A-Rod's Achilles. All right, but I am going back in. I'm rolling the dice with this offense, with A-Rod healthy. It's almost inevitable, right? It's almost inevitable. You want to talk about, a generational talent. You want to talk about a player like Bijan, right? I think Brees deserves to be in that conversation 100%. What he was able to do last year amongst the worst quarterback play in the entire league, yes, buoyed. I'm going to go, I don't know if you remember that one, Rob. I think that one's from last year. But we're going buoyed by those receptions with the checkdowns. My man's going to see mad more red zone opportunities. And I love the 2,000 yards total for Bijan. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm saying the same thing for my boy Brees this year. See what's up with my boy Brees Hall.
My man. Honestly, I would love to see that debate, right? Like, who's more likely to finish with 2,000 yards from scrimmage this year? Is it going to be Bijan or Brees Hall? So that's interesting. I mean, I don't hate it, man. Everything you said was on point. I don't hate it at all. The prime of his career.
I like Brees. I mean, even last year, with the shitty offense, he still was RB2, and he barely even played. The first half of the season, he wasn't even being utilized like how he should have been because he was coming back from injury. So, even more this year, he's up there.
Absolutely. I guess I'm on the clock, guys, and I'm gonna go with a guy that I have a lot of confidence in just because of the offense that he's coming into. And we saw Jonathan Taylor, who I'm gonna go with, from weeks 7 to 18, 21 touches per game, average almost 100 yards from scrimmage every single one of those games. He's entering the prime of his career, 25 years old, Anthony Richardson at quarterback, an improved offense overall. We're looking at a guy that can also lead the league in rushing. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor here. I love him at the end of the first round, so I'm glad that he fell over to me here at this pick. So welcome the boy in.
Love it.
I like it. Damn, at the back end here, we've got some different possibilities. I think I like a couple different guys here. But I think I'm going to go with AJ Brown here at the back end.
Wow.
Just being that there's a couple running backs that I do like that maybe I can get on the back end here. But yeah, AJ Brown, last season, obviously the second half they fell off, but he still finished as wide receiver 5. Even with falling off, I think that a lot of people just have a bad taste in their mouth with the Eagles, but he got the contract. He's there. Devonta Smith is there as well. But AJ Brown has been nothing but a top 5 guy since he's been there. So give me some AJ Brown there.
I know Rob likes that. I'm not the biggest fan. Look, man, I know he does work. I just where he's going, which is what he got him at 11. He's going roughly around 9. You know, with the infusion of Saquon to that offense. Look at man, Devontae Smith, in my opinion, at ADP, I feel like is a little bit better of a value. Obviously, he is an AJ Brown, right? And Rob's our Eagles fan, you know, our resident Eagles fan, and maybe he can talk to that more in regards to what he feels is a better ADP value versus AJ Brown. But you know, to your point, Stevie, I've been a little salty on AJ Brown, but like my man's brolic, dude. Like he does work, he gets it done. He's a big body Benz, as a couple of my homies like to quote me saying. I just there's something about his ADP. Like if he was going, you know, 2-3, 2-4, I feel like I like it a little bit more than 109. But I just could be a hater.
But question now, if you're looking at some of the wide receivers that are still left on the board, who has the top 5 upside like AJ Brown does that's still on the board?
I think Rob would say the rookie in the best spot in the NFL.
Other than Marv, right? You could argue Marv as well, of course, but you know, that's kind of just what I'm looking at is just like the tier break from there where, you know, the possibility of where AJ Brown's ceiling is. And I love Marv too. You could argue Marv for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Marvin Harrison's no A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a proven product, and in his 2 seasons with Philadelphia, he's finished no worse than wide receiver 5. So when we're looking at the board, we're looking at all the receivers gone. You look at A.J. Brown at the back end of the first round, I feel like that is as safe as it gets. He had 6 straight games last year with over 125 receiving yards. If you owned A.J. Brown, he was weekly winning you the week, every single week with those performances. He fell off during the second half, but I just feel like he's healthy, he's durable, he's reliable, and I just think we're underestimating what Saquon brings to this offense. This play action is about to be nasty in Philadelphia, and you know where they're going to go? They're going to go deep to A.J. Brown. I think he could set career highs in touchdown receptions this year, so I love the pick there. I was hoping he would come back to me, but with that being said, the player that I'm taking here is
Stevie's still up.
Oh, I gotta take one more. Oh, damn. Okay.
Real quick before you go. Yeah. Hey, take it easy, bro. Take it easy. You came out of retirement. It's been a long summer break for you. You gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill. Yeah. But I just want to touch on Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Because there's a lot of talk about Jahmyr Gibbs. There's a lot of talk about, you know, Monty's still going to be involved, right? He fits Campbell in that offense perfectly. With Gibbs going as high as he is right now in ADP, which I'm a believer of, but I want to kind of hear your guys' thoughts, and Benny chime in too, to like an argument to justify Gibbs's ADP, with somebody saying like Monty's going to get, 8 to 12 touchdowns. He's still going to be 40% involved. Like, does the shift happen, a 60-40 shift happen to Gibbs' favor this year? And is he worth where he's going in ADP right now?
So Jahmyr Gibbs is I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's a great talent. I think he has the upside to be a top 3 running back, if not in the top 5, just overall in points down the road. I just have PTSD from drafting DeAndre Swift in the first round a few years ago when he was on the Lions. And then obviously we all know what happened with that. But I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs has the offensive line. He has the other weapons that Jared Goff can go to. He's fast as fuck out of the backfield. I mean, he can fly. We saw in the first game he played against the Kansas City Chiefs, everyone was calling, why isn't this kid playing every single down? Why is David Montgomery getting any snaps? Because this kid is electric. I mean, I haven't seen, I would say him, Breece Hall, and Bijan are the most electrifying running backs the league has seen in a long time. And for them to really be kind of like brushed to the side and like, I love Jonathan Taylor. I think he does come back and do so much better than he did last year. But I mean, in that spot, I can't pass up on Jahmyr Gibbs.
Word.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget the first 6 games of the season, he barely played.
Yeah.
And he missed 2 of those games. He still finished as, RB10. So I'm not worried about him really much at all, especially when he's going to be in the passing game as well as the rushing game. I mean, Monty's just getting older. He's more of that. I don't want to say Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, but like Monty's going to pound it, and then Jahmyr Gibbs is coming in and giving you that speed and that different that different aspect in the game.
Yeah, I feel like the success of the Lions correlated with getting Gibbs involved. So I feel like why wouldn't they repeat that formula? I feel like he should see an uptick in overall volume just because of that reason. And but there's no doubt there's going to be some frustrating games where you're going to be like, okay, here comes Gibbs. Nope, here comes Monty vulturing 2 touchdowns. But that's okay. If he still gets, 15 total touches, then Gibbs is going to return on that value. So, we could be talking like if Monty wasn't involved, we could be talking to Gibbs as a top 5 option. So that's sort of what he has. So
yeah, for sure.
Easy.
All right, let me go to this next pick here. I kind of want to take somebody, but they're kind of on the same team. Like I'm thinking like Saquon in this area, but I don't know if I want to have both of those guys. So maybe I take the next guy, which could be Marvin Harrison or Kyron Williams, I think, for me. Kind of just depends how you want to build it. I am an RB hater, so
documented.
No.
So it's hard for me to go RB, but we are talking redraft, right? So it's good to have some of these workhorse guys, and I'm gonna just take Saquon for the sake of it. But I don't love having 2, Philly guys as my first and second round pick there. I don't know what you guys think.
Shit-eating grin for Rob right here.
What the heck, man? Come on. This is my first mock draft back. I'm getting comfortable with things, and I'm already getting sniped. So, that was where I was headed. I think if you start off the draft, you end up with Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley. You're doing a pretty good job there.
Hell yeah.
So you kind of took him from me. I think it's too early for Marvin Harrison personally at this point. Like to me, Kyron Williams jumps off as like a must grab at this position right here. And I think you were obviously debating whether you should get Kyron as well. Outside of McCaffrey, it was the Kyron Williams show down the latter half of the season last year. And everything coming out of camp, no pun intended, is that Kyron is the guy. Kyron is the guy. And I can't see them going away from that. So,
and Flo, before you pick, I got a question for you, Rob. What is your take on Sam Laporta being the first tight end off the board?
That actually happened. Oh man, the bots here are on a good one. No, I don't necessarily mind that Sam Laporta will get taken as the 1 necessarily, but I do feel like it's just way too early. In this instance, I think Sam Laporta in the 3rd round is just a little bit more appropriate from an ADP standpoint. But the sky's the limit with Sam Laporta. The only concern is we're very enthusiastic of every option that the Detroit Lions have.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be the odd man out. And, it's just, I don't know if it's Sam Laporta. I think he's there to stay. But it does concern me with, unless we're expecting these guys to be the 2013 Denver Broncos. Like, I'm not. Something's going to happen.
Word. Yeah, so there's a guy that's in queue, 2 picks from the top, who we got a write-up coming out, who's one of my biggest fades at ADP. And this is going to bother you a little bit, Rob, okay? But I think you could easily throw Sam Laporta into that same conversation, man. Like, the dude that takes Laporta in your redraft leagues this early is the sucker, right? It's the idiot. It's the, you're so dumb. Why would you take Sam Laporta in the 2nd round, right? I feel like Laporta is the first finger point in your draft for the player that you don't want to take going at ADP, in my opinion. But I want to talk about Chris Olave. I want to talk about how much I don't love him where he's going, right? He's literally going 19th on Sleeper. I guess this is, mid-2nd round. And, to me, I don't like it. I don't like the offense. I don't like Derek Carr, right? I feel like he's turned into a skinnier version of Ben Roethlisberger, right? My man tries to push the ball down the field, but he ain't got it no more, man. He can't dime nobody up no more unless his name was Devontae Adams, right? So I don't like Chris Olave at ADP whatsoever. I would 100% not consider him here, but I am going to reach again, right? Because as your RB2 in any kind of league, this cat right here is somebody you get excited about. And you know me, I am the hype beast. I am the dude that needs that upside and that sexiness on my team, unlike Stevie, because he likes ruining parties and not getting Daniels in a dynasty trade. But I'm going this guy right here.
Yeesh.
I couldn't have guessed that in a million years.
Go.
Why do you love HN so much, Joe?
Okay, so I'll tell you
Four
why.
games.
We talked about Gibbs, right? We talked about, you mentioned 15 touches a game, and that's all this dude needs in order to do work. Okay, it's only a matter of time before Raheem, the dream, or I should say the nightmare, right? His career ends. All right, this dude, one season, right? Before last year, what was he? RB 5, 7, something like that. Before last year, his highest finish was RB 25. Right? Before that, my man, he's either hurt or not existent, and he's bringing someone water. Okay, they drafted Jalen Wright. I think he is the replacement to Raheem, but I just love the Miami Dolphins offense, bro. I love, as much as I hated on Tua, bro, he fits that scheme perfectly. Similar to a Brock Purdy, right? Arm strength and all these other things. My man is accurate. He's on time. He puts the ball where it needs to be, and that offense moves, and that offense does work. And what do I want a piece of? An offense that's going to move the rock, score points, and do work. And what we saw from Achane, obviously efficiency is going to go down this year. But what we saw my man do last year, bro, is uncharted water. Nobody broke the NFL like that. And for me, as my RB2, not as my RB1, feels a lot more safe because I got that weekly winning upside in a player who could score 50 points. And that's just me, bro. And I roll the dice and I'll ride dirty. And you might see me scoop Jalen right around early in this draft just to cuff up. But that's kind of how my brain operates, and that's why I like HF, Rob.
I don't hate it, man. He ranked first in explosive run rate, third in missed tackles forced per attempt, second in yards after contact. It's ridiculous of how efficient this guy was, despite only seeing 41% of the snaps. If you get him to 60% of the snaps, what does that mean? Durability is an issue. I think people were kind of scared on, hey, he's back, he's gone. Like that's the one kind of knock. But I'm with you, man. I feel like he can be a league winner, but he could also, you're like sitting there. Like my second round pick just got cooked. But it's worth the risk when you're sitting here in the middle of the second round. It's not necessarily something that's going to destroy your draft, so to speak. So I'm okay with it, man. I get it. I get the fascination. I'm not gonna dog you for it.
Okay, let me ask you. Go ahead, Stevie, and then I want to ask you if you would have took.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm good with him as your RB2. Like you said, you feel a lot more comfortable with him as your RB2 than kind of as your RB1. And you're in a range where like he's kind of one of those guys that can be a real difference maker, league winning type guy in this area. So you got Brees already, so you're not really worried about it. So yeah, I'm good with him there. And
would any of you have taken ETN over HN?
Fuck no.
Yeah.
I think it's a conversation.
It's a conversation that's going to end very quickly.
Because ETN is going to get the volume at least. I mean, HN, obviously, he doesn't need as many touches. That's the thing with HN. But
isn't it crazy what ETN has turned into? Because like when he first came into the league, obviously he missed his time as a rookie, but the perception was that this guy was going to be a PPR monster. Mm-hmm. What he ended up being was a bell cow with just a low volume of pass efficiency. It's like, so it's kind of interesting, but I do like ETN because he's safe. He's like, right. Like Cheerios, you know what I mean? Like it's just reliable.
Better be Honey Nut Cheerios, bro. Don't be eating no raw Cheerios. What I mean, that's serial killer. That's serial killer shit.
I just don't feel like it's not going to bust your team at all. I think there's going to be some production that you could expect. But ETN and HN are like the complete opposite, right? So
yeah. And I mean, with ETN, they added Brian Thomas Jr. They added Gabe Davis. I mean, that doesn't really matter, but
Gabe the babe.
But also, I mean, if you're buying into the hype, they're saying that they want Tank Bigsby to handle more of a backup role.
Yeah.
And I just don't I don't think ETN can replicate what he did last year. I think that they have some better weapons now. I mean, just in Brian Thomas Jr. and seeing that Evan Ingram is I would say going to have another top 5 year. I'm kind of staying away from ETN. Like I want to, let's see, I'm just looking at his game log last year.
Kind of got burnt out, right? Sure. He kind of got burnt out after that first half of the season.
Well, so after the bye, it's like he went swimming and pulled a hammy or something, because he was running back 37, 30, 21. Then he had 2 top 15 finishes, 33, 49, 5 in championships. So if you had him in the championship, you probably won your ship. And then obviously 26, but who cares in fantasy about that? So, I mean, just going forward, it's all about efficiency, right? And, he was super efficient in the first eight games, and then he kind of fell off. Is he going to be able to sustain that durability throughout the rest of the season? I personally don't think so. And I think they're going to be passing the ball a little bit more this year if they're going to get their money's worth out of Trevor Lawrence.
The thing I like about ETN is that despite the dip, he was still getting the touches. He averaged 16.3 touches per game during the back half of the stretch where he wasn't as productive. He was the RB4 through the first 8 games of the season. So if you had ETN on your team during the first half of the season, he's punching you a ticket into the playoffs, then kind of capping it off with a good performance. I mean, we always want the running backs that are just super sturdy and always are delivering 20-plus fantasy points. It's just not realistic. So I like ETM for what he is, and I like the fact that he's only 25 years old. He's kind of in the prime of his career. So,
Yeah, I mean, that whole team kind of took a shit the whole second half of the season. It wasn't just ETN.
Yeah.
And he only averaged 3.78 yards per carry. So does his 85% snap share go to 75? But he's more efficient with those touches because he's got a little bit more rest. He's not burnt out. Like, it almost felt like he kind of got burnt out from those first 8 games almost.
Good point.
So with my next pick, it's again another reach city for me. I don't think in a actual competitive redraft league this guy would come back to me at the 304. This guy is on a new team. He has literally no one behind him except a rookie and then a shade of what used to be a quad. And I mean, they're priming him up to be a pass catcher as well. And with a quarterback that just signed a huge ass contract, and if you haven't guessed it by now, I'm going with the guy that hates all of us and all of what we do in the fantasy realm, in Josh Jacobs.
Oh. Ooh. Josh Jacobs, the biggest question mark in fantasy, I feel like, this year, right? He was, correct me if I'm wrong, RB1 just a couple years ago. Led the league in rushing, and then absolutely tanked last year. But it wasn't just him; the Raiders themselves were just.
I was just looking at his stats from last year. He missed the last 4 games, but also within the 12 games before the bye week, he did finish in the top 15 5 times, and then also top 10 4 out of those 5 times. So I mean, his volume is there. It's basically the same situation, right? Zamir White was a nobody until he got injured. And so I mean, having Marshawn Lloyd and, like I said, the remembrance of a quad and AJ Dillon, I think Josh Jacobs, the sky is the moon for Josh Jacobs. And this is also me drafting him and reaching for him is also helping me get off of my resentment for him for hating all of us. So, it works in multiple facets.
We appreciate that. We got to pour one out to Quadzilla. And what was, I will say this, Ben, I feel like you could have probably got him on the way back. Just from an ADP draft standpoint, I don't mind the reach, but in this instance where it's like, ooh, you could have like a Devontae Adams and Jacobs, I feel like your build could have been a little bit better had you risked it a little bit, rolled the dice, and hope that he came back. And I think he would have.
Would any of you rather take Derrick Henry instead of Josh Jacobs?
I have him ranked higher. Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna go. Might go with Derrick Henry, and just touching back on
fake
Jacobs.
out.
Just going back on Jacobs real quick. I mean, when Aaron Jones was healthy, I mean, he was touching the ball 20 plus times. So can Jacobs go back to being that workhorse? I think that is in the realm of possibility, but I feel like I'd feel a lot more safer with a Derrick Henry than a Josh Jacobs.
And I mean, going to that Aaron Jones point, I think Josh Jacobs is a hell of a lot better a north and south runner than Aaron Jones is. So, and like the pass catching ability, I mean, I think it's like pretty much hand in hand. Aaron Jones may have the upper hand a little bit, but I think that Josh Jacobs is going to be huge this year.
I like the offense, man. I think there's something to be said about the situation he's in. And so I don't hate it, man. But I do like Derrick Henry better.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the running backs. I'm like, I might take Derrick Henry over Achane. Like,
sheesh.
So let me chime in real quick because
Joe exhaled. He's like,
yeah. So I think there's something to be said, and I know Stevie can probably speak to it better than all of us because my man is dialed in Dynasty, and that's your number one operation, right? And I think always a good reminder for the people like us, the Dynasty G-Gens, especially like Stevie below me, who lives and breathes only Dynasty, right? A player like Derrick Henry, right? When it comes to Dynasty, you throw up a little bit, right? But the shift needs to happen at some point, and I'm going to call it early August. Most redrafts are mid to late August. In your home leagues, you got to find a way to transition out of Dynasty mode and into redraft mode. And I think Derrick Henry is the perfect example of a player that is that guy where it's like, oh, hell no, I don't want Derrick Henry on any of my teams unless you're Stevie because he likes RBs that are old and dying and barely have a last down in their cleats.
They're cheaper. They're cheaper.
Okay, cheaper to keeper, bro. Cheaper to keeper. But my point is that the shift needs to happen at some point, right? And I think I need to get there, especially for a player like Derrick Henry, because I, like Benny, like Josh Jacobs over Derrick Henry. But if we're talking redraft and we're talking real life and we're talking offense and we're talking who will score the most touchdowns this year, it feels like Derrick Henry's the right call, right? But in my brain, I'm not there because I'm like, I love Josh Jacobs. I signed him, that offense. Jordan loves sexy. He's younger. Jacobs still a workhorse, going to do work. But the reality is that shift needs to happen at some point. And I share that to everybody to remind myself, right, that eventually this needs to happen. And we need to start respecting players like Derrick Henry, especially when it comes to redraft.
Joe, I may want to flip your mind here with Derrick Henry, man, with this Derrick Henry hate that I'm hearing. And do you know what Gus Edwards did last year?
15 touchdowns. Look, bro, right? I just told you he's going to score more touchdowns. I know that, but I need to get there.
But math is the math. If the math is the math, if Derrick Henry puts up 20 touchdowns, which he's perfectly capable, if Gus put in 15, I think we could all agree that Derrick Henry is capable of going 20, then he's automatically, by definition of just touchdowns, will be a top 5 fantasy running back. Just by that math.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep. I mean, the last 6 seasons, he's got double-digit touchdowns, and those weren't great like Tennessee teams.
No, last year's Tennessee team was cheeks, right? I think we could all agree. Regardless of the
baby girl,
Henry ranked 9th in explosive run rate, 11th in yards after contact per attempt. Like, he was efficient, and he also was first in rushing attempts and second in rushing yards. Like, and he was on the Cheeks team. Like, now he's on the Baltimore Ravens. Like, hey, he's about to go crazy. I'm just saying, if health permits, he can go crazy.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Cheeks, y'all, if you could smash that like, smash that subscribe, it goes a long way. I'm on the clock now here, and this is where the best available comes into play, because passing up on someone maybe more noteworthy, maybe has a couple more seasons behind him. David, it is full PPR, and I'm going with the guy that has one of the best quarterbacks in the league that shocked all of us, that Flojo called over Bryce Young last year. And I'm going with his wide receiver 1 and Nico Collins.
No! I was going to look at, and I ain't mad at that, Benny. But here's what I think, and I'll do this for the sake of this draft, right? I wouldn't normally do it, but I'm starting to shift right here, Rob. Okay, because is Mike Evans not the Derrick Henry of redraft? You know what I'm saying? Like, we bet against him. He's old. When is he going to fall off? This is the year. And every single year, they get it done, right? And I feel like Mike Evans is a guy, especially for me. You know, you guys know me by now. Like, I like sexy. I like flashy. I like risking it all. And Mike Evans doesn't check any of those boxes. But what my man does check is 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns every single year. And I'm turning the dial a little bit. I'm going Mike Evans here, right? I just feel like as much as I don't like it, a part of me kind of likes it.
You're getting crazy, man. That's the most unflojo-like draft.
I'm telling you, you're rubbing off on me. But honestly, I would have taken Checo right here all day. He's my guy. I don't care if it's 3 receiver must start. I don't care if Stevie B hates running backs. Isaiah Pacheco is the safest RB in the 3rd round that you could possibly take. And at ADP, he is one player I will not leave any of my drafts not with, unless it's this mock, unfortunately, because it went right before me. But if I have my choice, I'm taking Isaiah Pacheco in every single 3rd round on every single one of my teams this year, because I think my man is dialed. You know, I think with the receivers that, you know, are on this team now with Hollywood, Worthy, right? We already seen Rashee Rice. He's not going to get suspended. Benny already called Mahomes to the moon, right? This feels like one of those years that the Chiefs can get back to 30, 27, 28 points per game. And I think Checo's going to live in the end zone, bro. And I love his ADP. He feels like that nice warm blanket on a cold winter night.
Oh, I love that take. In fact, I think that the hype around Pacheco is warranted, but I feel like it's going to go get bigger. I feel like in a month from today, Pacheco is going to be right where Etienne went, personally, because I feel like it's just the math's just going to math at the end of the day. And the reality is that when Jerick McKinnon wasn't on the field, he averaged 20 touches and 100 yards from scrimmage. Like, yeah, it's about to go crazy with Isaiah Pacheco. So I love that take, man. I'm all aboard the Pacheco as well.
Let's get it.
Now, this is going to be crazy. I'm going to say something crazy, Ben. Do you mind if I say something crazy?
Bro, this is why we're here.
All right. You know, I'm looking at camp highlights. I'm looking at what this team was able to do.
I know what you're doing.
With adding all the weapons and the speed on the offense and the Hall of Fame tight end and the Super Bowl appearances. And I'm like, is Patrick Mahomes going to throw 50 touchdowns this year? He is going to throw 50 touchdowns this year. He is going to – this Chiefs offense is going to be lights out. They're going to be blowing out teams left and right. And I want every piece that I can get on the Kansas City Chiefs. But most importantly, I want the one with the biggest value, which is Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd round. And this pick right here, I think can win you a lot of leagues. So I'm looking at the 3rd round as my Chiefs draft. It's either going to be a Chico or a Mahomes pick for me in the 3rd round. So I'm smashing Mahomes all day here at the 310.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is that guy. He's that dude. Just came off a Super Bowl, looking for another one, trying to get Kelsey one more before he calls it quits. And you know, the fact of the matter is that Patrick Mahomes, I would say, has the best ensemble that he's ever had.
Yep.
With last year Kelsey still elite. You had, like you said, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and then also, you know, Rashee Rice. Yes. And so with those weapons, and I guarantee you, Pacheco catches at least 2 touchdowns out of the backfield. At least 2 touchdowns.
Easy.
But because there's no Jerick McKinnon, and also I think that with Patrick Mahomes' rushing capabilities too, he has huge rushing upside in goal line situations and goal to goes, right? He either flicks the ball or to Travis Kelce or some no name and then scores a touchdown, or he usually runs out of containment and finds the end zone, kind of like Rodgers did a lot in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And so I think Patrick Mahomes has so many different faceted tools in his toolbox to really utilize this year that, I mean, I think he may even throw more touchdowns than Peyton Manning did.
Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's not a crazy pick to me. I love that fucking pick.
That's nice.
I like to pick too, and I'm just gonna stick on the quarterback train here because I want upside. And right now, with the guys left on the board, like give me Lamar. I want some of that, some of that upside that Lamar has here with the guys that's left on the board.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely the end of the tier for sure when it comes to those, like which quarterback can finish as the one. Lamar is the end of that tier for me, so I love that pick, man.
Right, Rich too, but I feel like he's just a little more risky. So let me stick with Lamar there. And listen, I'm totally flipping the switch from Dynasty here because I'm gonna go with some more upside. Give me some Cooper Kupp at this point.
I was hoping that's
a guy that gets peppered with targets. Like, does he have to stay healthy? Yes, of course. But we're in redraft. I'm okay with taking some of the extra risk of some of these high end producers. So give me some Cooper Kupp with Lamar there.
I don't hate it at all, man. This pick's a little bit complicated for me. And when you're looking at the draft, when you're looking at the build right now, I got 2 workhorse running backs. I love it. I have the potential of Patrick Mahomes to do what he's hopefully going to do. But we need to address the wide receiver position. So I'm looking at the wide receivers available. We got DJ Moore. We got Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith, and Zay Flowers. All of them have their issues where target share isn't in their favor, or it isn't as predictable as the receivers that just went. So I'm going with a guy that can potentially finish inside the top 5 regardless of the sketchy situation. And that is Mr. DJ Moore. I was big on DJ Moore last year. I had him in a ton of leagues, and he returned value for sure. And I actually feel that Caleb Williams is an upgrade over what they had with Justin Fields. I feel the quality per target is going to increase. And I feel like the offense is going to be committed to getting DJ Moore the ball. So with all that said, I feel like he's good, especially in the 4th round. I feel like that's a good value for me. I'm going to go DJ Moore here.
Love DJ. Just got paid, right? Follow that money. Everyone was off him. You know what I'm saying? Keenan Allen, look, my man is still going to do work. Roma Dunze is a straight baller. How's DJ going to eat? What are they going to do? Yo, DJ is a straight baller, special dude. That's why he just got paid, collected the bag, easily the one on that team. Caleb Williams coming in, right? Solidifying that entire offense. And I know Ben hated on my boy DeAndre Swift, bro, but don't hate on Swift either because he's a value. And if he's in there in the 7th, I'm going to scoop him up. But DJ Moore, I also love. I'm so glad Jalen Waddle went, right? Because I love Waddle, but I got H-N in my crazy brain. What you did right there, Stevie, I couldn't have done it. I would have wanted to do it, but I couldn't have done it. And I probably should have taken, if Waddle was there, I would have taken him, and then I would probably try to trade him. But ultimately, I'm going with, all right, Benny's guy, my guy, Mr. led the NFL in end zone targets, right?
Hold on. Go ahead.
You got a clip or something? What do you got?
Yeah. Go make your pick, and then I'll play it.
Okay. Because, look, and Slim Reaper is in the argument. He's in the conversation, right? I love Devontae Smith. I was just talking about him in regards to value in ADP. Here he is at the 4.7, right? And I love Devontae Smith. Rob talked about that offense, right? And what's going to happen, that play action, all of the above. And as I'm kind of talking through it, right, in my rankings, I do have Devontae Smith higher. I love DK Metcalf, and I think I'm going to let him fall to Benny because I'm a nice guy, right? But I feel like I have the touchdown upside with Mike Evans, right? So what do I need? I need a little bit more of a boom, right? And I need a little bit more of a player who I feel like might be a tad bit more consistent than a DK Metcalf. And when you're building your roster, right, this roster construction is so important, right? You need to have guys that all fit a slot on your team, right, in order to build that perfect squad. You can't have all upside. You can't have all safe, right? You need to have a mixture of both, in my opinion, to build that squad to give you what you need in order to win games and win chips. And I set you up. I was going to go DK, but I threw a little deke on your ass. And now I'm going to go with my boy, the Slim Reaper.
Fuck!
Damn, that's terrible.
Fuck you.
Pause. It didn't play, or at least it didn't on my side.
Oh, it played on my side.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. Ben, that sucks. I'm sorry.
That hurts. That hurts. That messed up the whole game, bro. That was the whole show.
Jeez.
All right. See you guys later next time. All right. So I kind of figured that Flo was going to take DK, and I was thinking about taking the Slim Reaper and Devonta Smith, but I also had a backup plan because that's what you need to do. You need to at least have 3 players that you're in the hunt for, right? Especially when it gets closer to your pick. It's easier, obviously, in slow drafts, but if you're in these drafts that are going to be a little further or a little quicker, right? Especially like 1 to 2 minute draft clocks, you really need to have those backups, right? And so I was thinking, do I reach for another wide receiver? Do I, settle for the guy that's not going to have as much volume, that's going to be even worse, that's going to get sniped by Mike Evans on the touchdown side? And we just put Flojo just put a piece out on the Shot Callers and his Instagram page. Go check that shit out. But I will not be picking Rachaad White here. And I will not be picking a running back. But I will be picking a top 5 tight end. And some ADP that I really like. And I think my next guy is going to fall to me. But I'm going with the guy that has just as good of a quarterback to throw him the ball and pepper him, and only has 1 wide receiver to really compete with, and that's Trey McBride.
I thought you were going to say Andrews, to be honest.
Me too.
And then I just got fucking sniped again. God.
These bots have no remorse for you. They're just like,
none.
So
but it's okay.
Were you going G-pick?
Yeah. So I was going to go George Pickens there as my wide receiver too. Huge upside. Not that safe of a floor. We're still trying to figure out if Russ can, cook oatmeal at this point. But that's really up in the air. And Justin Fields is really a 1-read quarterback. So we're hoping that 1 read will be GP. But, I'm going to reach a little bit for another guy in Mike Evans territory. He's quarterback proof. It doesn't matter if, his quarterback is going to get some massages at the parlor or not. And it doesn't matter if his backup is going to be throwing him the ball, because he, as well as Mike Evans, and another one that is underrated quarterback proof in DJ Moore, I think, going to his 3rd or 4th quarterback in his career. But I'm going with the ex-Dallas Cowboy, Amari Cooper.
No!
I like it.
Damn. I had the whole setup for my boy in the 5th, and I've said it, and I will continue to pound the table for Anthony Richardson, right? I know Stevie mentioned him already, right? And I just, like, you mentioned Lamar, right? And who's the closest thing to Lamar? I think in the NFL, it's Anthony Richardson. Who's going almost a round and a half, 2 rounds later? It's Anthony Richardson, right? And I love him in the 5th, man. And I'm really, really bummed that this happened, because this is a player, right, in my opinion, that is going late enough to where you feel like when you take him, you are getting value and upside, right? It's a combination of both of those. And that's essentially what you want in your draft, to get a player, a quarterback. Rob mentioned Mahomes throwing 50 TDs. I could see it. But the reality is I can also see Anthony Richardson, rushing for 10 or 12 touchdowns, throwing for 25, 28, and him finishing as the QB1 this year, because my man's going to run for, 6, 7, 800 yards. And he's a special player, special talent. I'm so sad that he is not on my team, but I do want to talk about him because I love him in the 5th round, man. And he and Pacheco are two players that I am not leaving my drafts with if I have any control of it. I think this is just a good reminder, right? Or actually maybe not, because if I would have taken him where I took Devonta Smith, that's a reach, right? So there are levels to this game to where you don't want to get too stupid, right? You want your guys and you want to do work, but you don't want to get outlandish with ADP. Even as crazy as I am when it comes to drafting, there are rules and regulations to this game, bro. But I am super bummed Anthony Richardson didn't go for me. But it does set up my next pick. And it's just tough for me because I don't know who I want to go. But I love K-Dub, Mr. K9, Mr. Kenneth Walker. All right, I think the forgotten man in football. And everyone was worried about Sharps, including Benny up here selling the shit out of him, right? But we remember what running backs from UCLA do. They shit the bed, right? There is no way when you watch tape these two players on the field, it's undeniable how much better of a player Kenneth Walker is, right? Charbonnet got played off the field. And that's what I love most about this situation. We got the new OC in Seattle. I love Kenneth Walker as a player going in the 5th. I think he is a decent value. There is no concern, in my opinion, in regards to Charbonnet taking any work from him. It's more of, can Geno return to Geno 2 years ago, right? And what does that offense look like? Because if that offense looks like that with the emergence of JSN, I think Kenneth Walker is a nice value. But you can't go all of that and not talk about Alvin Kamara, right? Because I think Alvin Kamara in a full PPR league, in my opinion, probably will finish higher than Kenneth Walker, right? Because Alvin Kamara still's got a little bit juice left. We're talking redraft. We're not talking dynasty. And I think the safer pick for me right here is Alvin Kamara. As much as I love K-Dub, I just had an opportunity to talk about him, so I did. But I'm going Mr. AK, Mr. Alvin Kamara, doing work with that PPR. Give me that. Give me that.
I really thought you were going to go Dalton Kincaid there.
Hell no.
What do you mean, hell no? You love Dalton Kincaid. Like, literally, you can't get him out your mouth.
I traded him everywhere I had him, and I got value, bro, so he's not my guy no more.
Okay, here we go. Now you really know his strategies.
I mean,
I am shocked by the Kamara pick, Joe, just because it's just it goes back to the hate that you have for Derek Carr. It's like if you feel negatively about the quarterback of the operation, like, how much upside does a Kamara have in that offense? I think it's all reliant on them damn targets, which is phenomenal. But, how many scoring opportunities is Kamara going to have at this point? He's knocking on the door at 30 years old. So I don't hate it, but, I don't love it.
It did suck last year, but he did finish as RB11, and he only played 13 games. And then from a points per game perspective, he was RB3, 17.9. points per game. I don't love Derek Carr either, but because he sucks, he's just dipping the ball underneath, throwing it to Kamara. So I love that. I'll take Kamara in that situation, dynasty or redraft, over all the other running backs out of there.
Yeah, I guess so. It's one of those things. It's like Jameis Winston back in the day. It's just like it's going to get it done. It's not going to look nice. And if we all watch New Orleans Saints highlights or New Orleans Saints games, we're just like, whoa, it looked ugly. We're like, Kamara just caught 4 passes in the last minute. That's crazy.
Right.
He got 20 yards.
Look away.
Yeah.
So that was my argument, Rob, is literally it was Derek Carr sucks, right? So what does a player do that sucks? They throw it to their running back because they can't complete anything downfield. Check down Sally, baby. I love how he
had 2 games. 2 games with 14 targets, bro.
Ridiculous, man.
What I'm saying. Hey, so look, you're changing my tune on Derrick Henry. Maybe my job tonight here is to change your tune on Alvin Kamara. Right?
You just did. You and Stevie just put in a little work right there. So I may moving up a couple spots in my rankings, guys. So good job.
with that though, since Alvin Kamara's quarterback situation is shit, does that not move you off of Breece Hall because his quarterback is not shit anymore?
No, because he did it with a shit quarterback, so now it's only inevitable he's going to do it with a great quarterback.
Okay, so
what are you talking about? So Alvin Kamara is Breece Hall of last year. That's the point. He's going to catch 60 balls, bro. Give me that.
Alvin Kamara was Alvin Kamara of last year because he had a shitty quarterback last year too.
Exactly. And did you hear Stevie? Do you want to remind this man of the stats we just read off? Because I don't think
I heard him. I'm just trying to remind you that Breece Hall is not going to finish in the top 3 this year.
Okay, baby.
And I'm a Jets fan.
That's fine. It's built-in pessimism because you're so tortured and hurt.
Now, I can agree that maybe Breece Hall doesn't get as many targets or receptions because Aaron Rodgers can actually throw the ball downfield, but he's going to make up for it in just overall quality touches, red zone touchdowns. So, like, I'm not worried about Breece Hall, but I do think he might have a little bit less in the receiving game than what he had last year. But he's going to make up for it in the rushing department.
Yeah, especially red zone opportunities, goal line touches. That's all going to go up. So,
Bet.
Ben's hating on freaking. Oh, like how long have I been away from you guys? Dang.
What has happened?
What's going on? All right. So my next pick, man, I was quite literally crossing my fingers that this guy would fall to me. Looming suspension. There's a lot of factors to be said with this guy, but I love me a good stack. And if I'm as optimistic as I am with Patrick Mahomes and what he's about to do, we're talking about a guy that last season as a rookie with a 20-game sample size caught 105 passes over 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's throughout the entire rookie season, including playoffs. I'm like, man, give me that guy that Patrick Mahomes is going to at the wide receiver position. So I'm gonna go Rashee Rice, because I think that this guy has the potential to finish top 10 at the position. If we are all confident about Mahomes dropping 45 plus, you can't tell me that Rice isn't coming down with 10 plus touchdowns.
Rashee!
I like it.
Sorry, Benny, real quick. I was just trying to trade for him in the league. Some dude was throwing some crazy value, and I'm like, bro, he's getting suspended. And then, the camp talks, and I'm like, yo, what's up with Rashee? Slide right back in.
So going back to the me grabbing Josh Jacobs in the second, is this you banking on his ADP skyrocketing in the next couple weeks?
I mean, it's already climbing, right? Like what we're seeing with Rice right now is Rice was kind of an afterthought. He was an 8th round pick for a while on ADP. Next thing you know, a couple camp news comes out, and now he's moving on up. So I feel like, again, a month from today, we probably see him an entire round above.
Okay, cool.
Man, I'm looking at like 3 different guys right here, 3 different positions. But give me the actual wide receiver 1 on the Jaguars, and give me Christian Kirk now that he's healthy. Was great with T-Law, or was it 2 years ago? Was great with him last year, wound up getting hurt. But yeah, give me Christian Kirk. I think he's going undervalued a little bit. We're kind of forgetting about him just because he was hurt last year, and Evan Ingram had such a great season. But I think that had to do with Christian Kirk getting injured as well. So yeah, I'll take Kirk there and then see what comes back to me.
I was saying, when's someone going to take K-Dub? I guess I didn't do a good job on selling them. I like the Kirk pick. But
the 3 guys I was looking at was Kirk, Walker, and Pitts. Those were the exact 3 guys I was looking at.
Yeah, hey, you weren't walking away with a car tonight, Stevie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't sell you, dog. I couldn't sell you.
Before you make this next pick, let's answer a couple questions here. What's up, Nino? How we doing? How we feeling? How we living? Who do you guys like more this season, Tyreek or Chase? We'll go first and say Chase will finish as the number 1 overall wide receiver. Next.
Man, that's tough. I want to say Chase because I really like that Joe Burrow's going to be healthy this year, but it's hard to just not go Reek. I mean, dude was on target for 2,000 yards. Like, I'm gonna go Reek.
Yeah, I'm going Tyreek as well. He's chasing 2,000. He's going for it. He's at the latter stages of his prime. But the dude is still the most explosive weapon in the NFL with that offense. Give Tyreek.
I'm going Reek too. Don't broke what's not. Don't try to fix what's not broke. I like the spiciness, Benny, but like until Reek's not, he is. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's nobody that does what he does on the field, and he's just. Somebody said it was some post, right? And Madden rating or whatever was the Greek, I think maybe was the only 99. And then I think it was that dude, I forget what his name, but he does all the impersonations of like back and forth with all the players. And he's like 99. He got a rating 99 because that's how many kids he has. I was like, yo, that is hilarious. I had to comment, and I love that one. Nothing really to do with the ranking, but I thought it was great.
All right.
I want to see Stevie go Burrow here because my man loves Joey B, and I want to see you do something like that. I don't want to force your pick, but I want to hear you talk about Joey B.
I got Lamar. I can't go.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Listen, if I had to go back, I'd probably take Kenneth Walker instead of Kirk, just because now, like looking at the running backs, I feel like it's a little bit of a tierish drop off a little bit, like from Walker. So that kind of sucks because now I'm looking at the running backs and I'm like, damn, there's a few different guys like I could want to take here. And I mean, what's the chances that some of these guys make it all the way back to me? So I'm almost inclined to like reach a little bit and grab one of these RBs. Damn, and being that Pitts is gone, you know what? Give me the guy that could win you a week. He's gonna have up and down games, but I'm gonna go with Kittle here.
Kid.
I'll go with Kittle.
He's going to have, you mean up and down 5 weeks that he plays the whole season?
Ooh.
Ben,
That's okay.
I'm okay with that. Like,
right.
I've owned George Kittle almost every year in my friends and family league. I always just happen to land across George Kittle. And I just love that every 5th game or so, the dude just goes for 40. And I'm like, the 4 weeks before, it doesn't matter. He just dropped 40. I'm good. Repeat it 4 weeks later, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep it moving. I love George Kittle.
Hey, Benny's a little dark tonight. Forgive him. He's got that ambiance in the back. Benny's just injuries. This guy, he's a little dark tonight. So forgive my guy.
No, it is all good. I'm back on the clock, and okay. Speaking of players that's just happened to land on your roster every year, I've been playing fantasy for 12 seasons. I think I've owned Terry McLaurin in every year since he's been in the NFL. This is no different. I have him as my wide receiver 3 here on this roster build. I'm okay with it. I feel like we say this every year, but genuinely, he's gonna have the best statistical season he's ever had because his quarterback can produce at that level. Hopefully. And if not, then he's going to give me 80 receptions for 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. The worst case scenario.
One of those players, man. But here's the problem, Rob, is Scary Terry, like in real life, he's a guy you want on your team, right? He's one of those players, one of those receivers that you're like, man, I love you, bro. You're so tough. You make those big plays. Like he's like one of those dudes. But when you break down his numbers, man, I feel like my guy is just constantly living in that wide receiver 2 territory. Me and Ben talked about that. As much as you love him and you're like, 3 years ago, Scary Terry, top 10, like I was all over, bro. I loved him, the nickname, how he played, and it just never came to fruition. But getting him in the 6th tier as your wide receiver 3, I mean, come on.
I will say this. Does he kind of remind you of like DJ Moore, who was stuck in that wide receiver 2 range and then got kind of a rushing quarterback who can air it out a little bit?
Stevie, I like where your head's at, man. There we go.
Can he unlock Terry like what we've been waiting for years?
Truly.
Wow. Could this be the take of the night? Keep going, Stevie.
This is it. You heard it from Stevie here first. Terry McLaurin, top 5 finish in 2020.
God damn.
Pin that shit.
Clip it.
I don't know if I'm going all the way there, but it's a legit possibility. Like we see what these
going all the way there.
We see what these Russian quarterbacks could do. They can open things up for some of these good wide receivers. And Terry's been a great wide receiver. He just hasn't had a quarterback.
Not wrong.
My man's going in raw tonight.
Hey, perfect segue to the rushing quarterback. And I've said it once, I've said it twice, and now I'm going to do it, right? I already said there's 2 players in each round, right? Checo in the 5th, AR in the 5th, and we got my boy, Mr. Tiny Tim, Mr. Roadrunner himself, Mr. Mini Man, Mr. Kyler Murray, right? So at his ADP in the 6th round, you talk about that rushing upside. You talk about a quarterback that essentially gives you what we all are looking for, right? And a man who's done it in the past, my man who played pretty solid at the end of last year, right? And now with Marv on the squad, McBride taking a step forward, the old man that no one likes but does work always, James Conner. I like the Arizona Cardinals with a bad defense to be chasing points and for Kyler Murray to be running around, right, getting lost behind the line. Where'd he go? Where'd my kid go? Right, we're at Disneyland. I don't got the leash on him. Where'd Kyler go? And I just love – I need a running quarterback, bro. That's me. And if I don't have one, I'm sad. guess what? I got one, and I got my guy Kyler in the 6th.
You better hope that he doesn't play Call of Duty anymore. That's all I gotta say.
Hey,
I mean, even if he does, I mean, he's been a top 10 quarterback every healthy season. So
yeah, statistically, after a double XP on Call of Duty, Warzone especially, he is out of the top 15 that Sunday.
Stevie, you got the numbers in front of you. What was his back half stretch after he came back, like points per game, and kind of where was he numbers wise the tail end of that last season?
I don't have. Let me see. Hold on. I don't think I've got that exact. But
I got it right here for you guys. You know, he came back week 10 versus Atlanta, 18.3, then 22.7, then 20.4. Had a bit of a dip off against Pittsburgh with 11.8. Then he finished the season pretty well. His last 3 games, 20.4, 24.7, and 17.8. He gets it done.
Give me that.
He just gets it done.
Give me that.
Yeah, even though I'm hating on the Call of Duty, I do like Kyler this year.
That was probably the Pittsburgh week, 11.8.
He was up late.
Yeah, right. All right, so moving forward here, I could go a different couple ways. I could solidify another running back or get my third wide receiver here. And I think I'm going to do that and go with a guy that a lot of people are hyping about. He's going back to his old position. You know, he was able to kind of get the ball last year, but not as much as we all would have hoped. Rashad White will be taking a step back, and I'm going to do a little reach in here for my man Chris Godwin.
God.
I like it.
I like your duo. I like the Cooper Godwin combo. I think that's a good solid combo there.
And then I'm going to go with a guy that tried to run and got his Achilles snapped in half, and solidify my take today that I posted on Instagram about the did you know that Dak Prescott is the fucking man? And that's why I'm picking him right now.
Nice take.
Thanks.
Nice take. You know, Dak Prescott's the man. Okay, so it's starting to get ugly. How many people have a tight end? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, Rob doesn't. But there's 2. I'm going to hold off on my guy, and I'm going to do my dance when I get him on the way back. I'm not going to give up any names. But there's a lot of dudes in this territory that I don't love, but I kind of like. Let's see, what's my squad? Brees, H.N. Evans, A.K. Kyler. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go. Because this is the 3-receiver must-start league, I'm going here. Otherwise, I would probably take my boy Ramo. But let's stay on the theme. The KC offense is the 2013 Broncos, and everybody eats. You get a car. You get a car. Benny, you don't get a car because you're angry tonight. But guess what? Mr. Hollywood does get a car.
I love it, man. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes is going to throw 50 plus.
Let's go. Let's go.
We're just sticking to the formula, guys. Now, I'm going to go with a guy who also has touchdown upside. In fact, he scored 21 last year. Boom. And it's a non-sexy pick given the age, but this dude is still the RB1 in Miami. And it is what it is. Sorry, Joe. And as long as my guy stays healthy, which has been an issue for him in the past, I feel like in the 7th round, especially at the end of the 7th round, if you can get any semblance of what he was last year, then you're gold. You outshot that ADP. So I'm gonna go ahead as my RB3, Raheem Mostert, have him as kind of my rotation flex play, if you will, between him and my boy Terry. So yeah, Raheem the dream on the team.
Raheem the nightmare. I told you already.
Yeah, definitely sniped. I would have definitely took Raheem right there.
You need RBs, boy. You hate RBs and you need RBs.
I mean, I need RBs, but I feel like almost all these guys are like the same that's left. So I'm okay with just waiting a little bit and then taking a bunch at the end. I mean, I got my hero Saquon. Obviously, if he gets hurt, I'm screwed, but I'll take a bunch of RBs on the back end there. And then I'm going to just still bang out some wide receivers here just because I don't like, I'm okay with a lot of these running backs still that are left. So like, give me the give me the rookie Lad McConkey on a Charger offense with nobody there as my wide receiver 4. And then comes right back to me like, what do I do now? I mean, do I have to go running back here? Like, what am I doing? I don't
Take
even
Nick
know.
Chubb.
I ain't taking Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb to me is dead. I just don't see a
Rest
world
in peace,
where
bro. Rest in peace, man.
I don't see a world where he comes back and just is all of a sudden getting 20 plus carries again. Like I don't know if that's possible at this point. Like, is the team really going to do that to him after coming back from injury like that? Like, I just don't see it. But I don't know. You guys feel any different about Chubb?
Nope.
Genuinely, I didn't mean to throw this out there. I thought the career was over. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen, because there's not one human being that does not love Nick Chubb.
Yep.
And fantasy aside, I was just felt so bad. I'm like, oh man, I just wish it was a regular ACL tear at that point, let alone knee going backwards. So I really hope we're all wrong, guys. I hope he's back by week 7, week 8 and doing this thing, because he is that guy. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
All right. I'm going to still bang out wide receiver. I'm going to go with my boy Deontay here going to Carolina. Let's go. We're just stacking up the receivers. We'll figure out running back. That's okay. But yeah, I'm going to go.
Moss, bro. Just like he's on your dynasty squad, you're getting Zach Moss again. You're getting
Zach Moss, Javonte, Jalen Warren, Devin Singletary, Tajay Spears, Brian Robinson, Gus Edwards. I mean, what's the real difference?
Yeah, Jalen Warren's the real difference. Let's be real.
Oh, don't start.
We already had a whole show about the Steelers' backfield. Let's not do that again.
Oh God, that sounds like a terrible show.
We actually were all in monotone. We were in black robes, no lighting.
Yeah.
I'm just whispering Jalen Warren's name every 5 minutes.
Yeah. He's better than Najee.
No, he's not.
He's not.
But he is. Check the stats.
Check the volume.
Yeah, I'm looking at the tight end position here. I'm entertaining TJ Hawkinson because of what we saw while he was healthy last year. But I'm going with a guy where, that posted career highs across the line in David Njoku. He was responsible for a lot of fantasy championship victories last year as well. Came through in the clutch. I like him at this range, especially if you're kind of punting the tight end position until the 8th round. So I'll just take Njoku and kind of hope on the upside a little bit.
There goes Chubb. Okay, yes. Okay, so look, Rob, to your point, I do agree. I think in Njoku there is a slight tier break, but you mentioned punt on tight end. There's one guy that returns punts at the tight end position. And this dude, he's delicious. He's so delicious, they call him Fergalicious. Let's fucking go, baby. You know I got my guy. And now it's not loading. Why is my pick not happening? There we go. Fergie's my guy, bro. And I'm gonna keep pounding the table. He's a wide receiver 2 on that offense. Brandon Cooks is cooked. I know Benny likes him, right? But it is Ferg season, right? I got a write-up. I think that's in the works. Someone's been real busy with work, but I got some nice breakdown of Fergalicious, especially in the red zone. What does he like to do? My man likes to get open. My man is baby George Kittle in the gap game. Check the advanced metrics on the upcoming post. And my man is going to do work this year in the 8th round. There's only one person in regards to punting the tight end position that I want, and that is Mr. Fergalicious.
He had a great year.
Now I know why it hasn't been done, because I just keep forgetting about this guy that no one really cares about.
Except me.
Yes.
He's on all my dynasty teams. Like, I'm all in. What am I going to do? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Hey, what? Hey.
Man, I hope he stays healthy for the sake of all of those dynasty leagues. I'm just kidding, man. He's going to be fine. He's 25 years old.
Yeah, come on, Rob. What's up with that? Okay, Ben. Rob Ben, I should call you.
The pessimism rubbed off a little bit. I'm kind of fading.
So I hope Jake Ferguson does have a good year, because in this mock I drafted Dak, and he was one of the touchdown makers in Dak's QB 3 finish. Yeah, Dak finished as the QB 3 last year. And so right here, I mean, I would I was hoping Javonte was going to fall to me, because I am under the impression that a year and a half removed from injury, that I'm hoping that he's going to return to somewhat of what he was in his rookie campaign. And, Sean Payton really does produce elite running backs. We all remember the Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara years, and then the Alvin Kamara years. And granted, they had a Drew Brees that just basically could only throw it 10 yards, but that was fine for the running backs, and they were able to win games that way with elite defenses. And I think that's kind of going to be the same way they're going to try to approach this season with, I'm guessing Bo Nix is going to be the starter at the beginning of the season.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. And then, but here, so I was going to go Javonte, but here I'm going to go with a guy that I truly think is going to have an immediate impact. He led the CFB in touchdown receptions, and I'm going with my man in Jacksonville, Brian Thomas Jr.
10 toes down. I'm Benny.
10 toes down.
I like upside picks, man. I like those upside picks, especially this late. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I love some throwing cards, so I like that pick. And
then coming back around to me, like we have talked about, and especially because I didn't get the other guy that's part of the offense, year 2 wide receiver that's really going to break out, that is going to finally take over that role in Seattle. And I don't care that I still only have 2 running backs in JSN.
That's what I was hoping fell to me. Like that pick a lot, Benny. And, at this point, man, we want to talk about shooting for upside. There is not very many players that are standing out to me. I just want to touch on this real quick. And I know, got your message, Rob, is when it comes to your draft, right? My squad and how I always normally draft is balanced, right? Stevie, on the other hand, you can look to a team that's wide receiver heavy. If you have a strategy and your kind of operation, players that are going to fall, that are going to fill that need for your team, draft that way, right? But also, if that's not what you can do comfortably, don't draft that way, right? A draft strategy in regards to what makes you feel the most comfortable when you look at your squad needs to be implemented always. And I'm a super balanced drafter, hence 3 receivers, 3 running backs, quarterback, and tight end. So now I'm at the point to where now I'm just shooting and I'm taking shots. But understand your process and know how you like to draft in your leagues and operate that way, right? Don't go out, I'm going to go just on ADP, I'm going to take best available. And you look at your team and you're like, damn, I hate all these guys. And I got 5 running backs and 1 receiver, or I got 4 receivers and 1 running back and a tight end. Understand your process and execute that. Speaking of that, let's take some more upside.
Before I hop off, this was actually the combo that I was looking for. In fact, I like these guys around before, Joe, and that's both J-Mo and Keaton Coleman. How both of these guys have such a high upside that at this point of the draft, you're just like, man, what's the worst that could happen? We've seen rookie wide receivers finish top 25 with ease over the last few years because they're coming from college, almost a perfect transition into a pro-style offense nowadays. It used to be back in the day that the rookie wide receivers, we used to have to wait a year for them to marinate before they really popped off. That's no longer the case. So a draft strategy that I have this year is taking at least 2 to 3 shots on some rookies, because the best thing that could happen for you is they pop off for a couple of weeks and maybe even have some trade bait there as well. So I like that you did that, man. I'll end this with my last pick here. And I'm with you, Joe. I think I've been drafting enough with you over the last, 7, 8 years, 10 years.
I don't know. I don't think it's 10, but it's a good. We're at 5 or 6 for sure.
Pretty close. I started my account 10 years ago, so I was like, I think you came along a couple years later. But with that being said, I like the balanced approach, right? I do just like you, where it's like you want to make sure that there's no glaring holes, that you're just kind of scrambling at the end of the day, looking for some trades. So I do like the balanced approach. but I like the upside approach as well. And I like Trey Benson here as kind of the high upside that if he pops off, I'm looking at, because I'm trying to picture this, right? It's like, okay, if Raheem Mostert ends up dropping off towards the middle of the season, we see your boy HN kind of take over. Can Benson kind of do the same thing to James Conner in reverse and kind of solidify a kind of a playoff run towards the end of the year? So always think ahead. Your players are not going to be healthy throughout the entire year. You got to prepare for some scenarios and some fill-ins and some gaps. So I like Trey Benson here.
And I like Trey Benson over Jonathan Brooks, honestly, especially this year because he's not coming off a major injury. Also, I have and I've had him as my rookie RB1 in Dynasty.
Like that.
So do you like my team, Ben?
I do like your team.
I like it. I'm just playing, guys. I'm looking forward to posting our rounds here as well. But I have to fly. It's an honor to be podcasting with you guys, and I'll see you guys on IG. I'll be posting a lot of these clips.
Hell yeah! Thanks, Rob. Thanks for jumping on, brother.
All right, bro.
Chris Brothers. Later.
Peace.
Damn.
And then there was 3.
Alrighty.
Hey, show me something nice, bro. I got faith in you.
I mean, I'm looking at Curtis Samuel, but I know I do need some running backs too. So I'm probably inclined to grab a running back or two here.
This boy's a savage, bro. This boy is a savage.
Give me Tajay here, and then like on the comeback, give me it's either gonna be B-Rob or Gus Bus here. Or maybe even Zeke. I mean, shit, there's nobody there. What the hell is happening with over there in Dallas?
Dowdle, baby. Why you doubting the Dowdle?
I got Dowdle on most of my teams. You know how I roll with my bench guys.
Yeah, the dirtiest.
But I mean, I like Chase Brown. I like Jerome Ford. I like a few of these guys down here. I'm gonna go with Gus the Bus though. Give me the guy that's most likely gonna be the goal line guy. Maybe he bangs in some tutties, but.
And Flo, who do you think that Rob would go here? You've drafted him enough, so I can plug someone in real quick.
I would probably say if he's a balanced kind of guy, he's due for a receiver here.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going receiver, dude that just recently got a little bit more dough.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 1 on the squad. I think Cortland Sutton in the where are we at? I don't even know. I can't see the bottom. We're in round 10.
10. Sorry. Yeah.
Cortland Sutton in round 10 just feels like an absolute value this year, as gross as it is. I don't know, man. My man scores touchdowns and he does work. He did it with, Russ last year. I think Troy Franklin is not anybody, to threaten his target share. And you got to assume the Broncos are going to be playing from behind, man. So I like C-Sup, man. I really do. And the more I talk about him, I think the more in my brain, he's going to become, a 10th round target that we might have to start, kind of locking in.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Corum fell to me. I love Kyron, man. And I originally wasn't scared. I'm still not scared. But the reality is Blake Corum is a decent RB. He's not trash, right? He fits a little bit. You want to say he's a similar mold, but I think my dude's a little bit different of a runner and a playmaker, and definitely not the receiver Kyron is. But my man can score touchdown, right? He showed that in college. I feel like he has a nose for the end zone, and I do think he's going to vulture more TDs than people think. But obviously, Kyron, his snap share last year is unsustainable. It's not going to hurt his value, in my opinion. But I do like taking Corum late. He's one of those RBs where if I don't get Kyron, I like rolling the dice on a Blake Corum later in drafts. But let's see, what do I got on my squad? Let me see on here. So starting rosters filled up. Time to just build some depth with some upside. You mentioned Zeke and you mentioned B-Rob, who are higher in ADP. But you know what I like? I like that hype, baby. And there is very few players that are getting more hype than someone else that you just mentioned, Stevie. And that's this cat right here, Chase Brown, right? It just feels like the rumblings are beginning. And I know Zach Moss is there and he's this and that, and he played well last year. But remember, man, this is the player that they drafted. This is a player that flashed, and this is a player that's tied to a top 5 offense in the NFL, right? So if I'm this late in the draft, I'm shooting my shot on players like that, on offenses like that, who also are getting a lot of hype coming out of camp, which I think this is the dude whose ADP probably will rise into the 9th round before draft season starts. But I love me some Chase Brown right here in the 10th.
Mm-hmm. And Mike brings up a good point. I think after this round, do we wrap it up or do you want to do one more?
Where are we at? What time is it? 9:30? Yeah, I say one more is good.
Yeah, okay. We can do one more.
All right. So with this pick, I'm going to make it quick. I really like the, like Rob asked me, do you like my team? The Terry McLaurin, and he made a good point about Jaden Daniels finally opening up that offense. And I think the addition of Austin Eckler there is going to help open up the offense for this guy, and especially going to be able to teach him some pass catching ability in Brian Robinson in the 10th round.
B-Rob's a player, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think as gross as people may think that he is, like, B-Rob's a nice player, dude. And I think he showed a little bit of receiving chops last year. But when it comes to a north and south dude, he's a big boy, man, and he runs hard. And I think B-Rob is a nice call right there, late in the 10th for sure. And
my inkling goes. So I mean, I would be picking another running back in the 12th if we were to go that far. But I think since Jerome Ford didn't fall, I was hoping Jerome Ford was going to fall back to me, and I really like him at his ADP 10th, 11th round. He will be playing the chunk of the season. Like we talked about, Nick Chubb, I think, is an afterthought right now. The next guy up is Dante Foreman, who can fill in if necessary, but Jerome Ford is the lead back in Cleveland. But I'm going to go with a guy that I will be leaving every single draft with, that no matter what, he is going to have a good floor, and be a good wide receiver too in his depth chart, and maybe even a wide receiver 1 if his other cat gets traded, and I'm going to be grabbing Jacoby Myers in the 11th.
Jacoby! I mean, to me at this point, when I look at the receivers, dude, like, they're all the same. But there is one person that is standing out because of my 2nd round investment. I am a guy that likes to sleep at night. I'm gonna reach on this cat because to me, bro, he is Raheem the Nightmare's replacement. Jalen Wright is that dude, bro, and he goes north and south. And my man is gone. He's a big boy, and he's that thunder to my boy A-Chan's lightning. And I'd like to cuff up, bro. I'm a cuff kind of guy, so I'm gonna take Jalen Wright.
Yeah, if he would have fell to me, I would have definitely taken him. I like it.
The dirty.
I like it.
He said, "I like it."
All right, who you pick?
Give Rob Leggett, since he likes rookie receivers. He's taking stabs on. Unless you want him, Stevie. I mean, I'm just trying to.
Nah. I don't want Leggett. I'm in running back horde mode at this point. All right, let's go with my boy Rico.
Yeah,
let's get some guys on good offenses, and then we're gonna take my other sleeper because Aaron Jones can't stay healthy. Let's go with Ty Chandler.
Let's go.
Let's fill up the bench.
I'm with
it. Let's get some RBs now.
4 in a row, baby. Someone's gonna hit. Someone's gonna go down.
Oh, that's it. I plug in and play. What up, Catch?
So
give him Dobbins.
No, I want Dobbins.
You want Dobbins? Dobby.
Give him Dobbins.
I mean, that was just for fun. Some people love him. You know, I was so all in on Dobbins last year. It was heartbreaking to see that, man. I think he is a great player. I think it's time to cut bait and light a candle for my boy JK 2 legs, JK 1 leg, JK no legs anymore.
JK, he's got bionic knees now. Shit.
And an Achilles. Shit.
Do you think he goes quarterback here?
I mean, I don't know. Drafting 2 QBs with Pat Mahomes is a little silly.
He's got Patty. There's still some guys left. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good time to wrap it up. So thank you everyone for joining today. This show was a blast. I hope to do it again soon. I do not apologize for being a little pessimistic because that's what I actually think. We're out here. Again, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does go a long way. And, we do it for y'all, man. And we don't get paid. None of this shit happens in our paid time. We do it on the free time. So hitting that like and subscribe is the least you can do. So thank you all so much for joining. Flo, Stevie, Rob, I love doing this shit. Anything y'all want to say to the folks at home?
Hey, make sure you're following us. And one last thing real quick, right, is I hate to be that guy, but if you guys show love, you guys are part of the community. When we're posting some stuff, man, just double tap, double tap that thing. When you vote on a poll in my story, but you don't like my post, it hurts my feelings a little bit, right? Get in that thing and do both for me, right? We're out here, we're forcing Ben to do all these kind of edits and graphics and stuff, right? I come up with an idea and I'm like, yo, make it happen and make it look good. And you guys are voting on polls, but you're not double tapping. Like, just show some love, baby. Like you said, we're out here, we're doing this for free and for fun because we love football, we love fantasy, we love you guys. Most importantly, I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, just spread the love a little more, man. It doesn't take that long to show a little love on the stuff we put together.
Stevie, you got anything in the works you want to let the people know about before we sign off?
Not really. I mean, we're live every Tuesday night for Dynasty, so we talk Dynasty every Tuesday. Hit me up if you want to get in the Discord. I've got a Discord. We've got probably about 60-ish, 65 people in there. We're talking Dynasty every day. So, trades, mock drafts, we're all kind of helping each other out. So hit me up if you want to get in that. Or if you go to my page, Dynasty Life Fantasy Football on YouTube, in any of my descriptions, you'll see the link is in there. So you can always hop in, anytime y'all want.
Nice.
Sick. So thanks y'all again. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. Come back next time. And y'all know what it is. Fantasy is life. It's a vibe. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace.